Real English for your daily life.
Master English together.
Have you ever made a perfect to-do list and then done absolutely nothing all day?
Oh, I have been there. The list was beautiful, color-coded and everything.
Right? And somehow the more perfect the list, the less you actually do. Welcome to Everyday English Podcast. I am Sara.
And I am Noah. This is a B1 level episode perfect for intermediate learners. Beginners, you are welcome too.
Today we are talking about something that quietly holds so many of us back. Perfectionism. We will share 2 real practical steps to break out of it. And trust me, one of them is going to surprise you.
Stay until the end for our word tour. 5 expressions that will make you sound like a native speaker when you talk about stress, pressure, and getting things done.
And there is one thing we discovered about perfectionism. That completely changed how we think about trying hard. We will get to that in about 10 minutes.
It involves a psychology law with a very long name, but the idea? So simple it almost feels like cheating.
And later in this episode, Noah is going to share something that completely flipped my thinking on this. But first, let us set the scene.
Right now, you might be on the bus, or washing dishes, or lying in bed telling yourself you will start tomorrow.
Wherever you are, we see you. And this episode is for you.
Before we dive in, we have a quick question for you, and we want a real answer in the comments.
How many tasks are on your to-do list right now? Just the number. Drop it in the comments below. We read every single one.
No judgment. 10, 40, 300?
We have seen some wild numbers, and later in this episode, those numbers will make a lot more sense.
Also stay with us because in about 10 minutes we are going to give you one tiny question to ask yourself every time anxiety creeps in. It takes 5 seconds, and it works.
All right, let us get into it. So last week, I sat down at my desk with a brand new to-do list. It was perfect, every item carefully planned.
Oh no, I already know where this is going.
I had color-coded sections, morning tasks, afternoon tasks, even a bonus section for if I finished early.
A bonus section. Wow.
And I sat there, staring at it, for 40 minutes. I did not start a single thing.
That paralysis is so real. You have so much to do that you end up doing nothing at all.
Exactly. And the worst part? I kept thinking, I need to do this perfectly. If I start and it is not good enough, what is the point?
So the pressure to be perfect actually stopped you from starting.
Completely. And here's the thing that got me. I was not being lazy. I genuinely wanted to do the work.
That is such an important distinction. Laziness and perfectionism look the same from the outside, but they feel completely different on the inside.
One is, I do not care. The other is, I care so much that I cannot move.
I felt that. I really felt that.
And you know where this hits hardest for me? English practice.
Oh, tell me more.
I used to say I am not ready to speak yet. Let me learn a few more words first, and then a few more, and then a few more after that.
And you never felt ready.
Never, because there was always one more word to learn, one more grammar rule to get right. The bar kept moving.
That is perfectionism in disguise. It feels like preparation, but it is actually procrastination.
Wait, say that again. That is such a good point.
It feels like you are being responsible, like you are getting ready, but really, you are just delaying the moment when you might fail.
And your brain is very good at making that feel logical.
So good. Your brain will give you 100 reasons why now is not the right time.
My brain once convinced me I needed to reorganize my bookshelf before I could start writing an email.
Classic, absolutely classic avoidance behavior.
But here is what I started to notice. The more pressure I put on myself, the worse I performed. Not better, worse.
That is actually backed by psychology, and it has a name.
It does?
There is a law, a real psychological principle, that explains exactly why this happens. It is called the Yerkes-Dodson Law.
The Yerkes-Dodson Law. Okay, that sounds very official.
So basically, imagine a curve shaped like an upside-down U.
Like a hill.
Like a hill. On the left side of the hill, too little pressure. You are bored. You do not care. Nothing gets done.
That is me on a Sunday afternoon with no plans.
Sane. But on the right side of the hill, too much pressure. You are overwhelmed, anxious. You overthink everything and freeze.
That is me with the color-coded to-do list.
Exactly. But right at the top of the hill, there is a sweet spot.
The sweet spot.
Just enough pressure to focus. Not so much that you shut down. That is where your best work happens.
That makes so much sense. And I think most perfectionists are living on the right side of that hill. Way too much pressure all the time.
All the time. And the cruel irony is, the harder you try to be perfect, the further right you slide on that curve.
So trying harder actually makes it worse.
It can. When the pressure crosses a certain point, yes, more effort creates more anxiety, not better results.
That is the thing nobody tells you. We are always told, try harder, push more, do not give up.
And sometimes that is good advice, but for perfectionists, it is the worst thing you can say.
Because they are already trying too hard.
Already maxed out. Already past the sweet spot.
I wish someone had told me this years ago. When I was sitting there staring at my to-do list, I thought the answer was to push harder.
And instead, the answer was to ease off. Just a little.
Just enough to slide back to the top of the hill.
Back to the sweet spot.
And by the way, there is a phrase for exactly what happens when you overthink and freeze. It is called spinning your wheels. We will break it down properly in our word tour later, but keep that phrase in mind as we go.
Spinning your wheels. When you are working hard, but going nowhere.
Sound familiar?
I feel personally called out right now.
Good. That means it is working. And here is the thing. There is actually a way out of this. A real practical way.
And Noah told me something last week that completely flipped my thinking on how to find that sweet spot again.
Stay with us, because what comes next is the part that actually changes things.
You know, Sara, after hearing your story, I tried something myself last week.
Oh yeah? What happened?
I had this report to write, and I kept putting it off for 3 days. 3 whole days.
Because you wanted it to be perfect.
Because I wanted it to be perfect. Every time I opened the document, I just stared at the blank page.
The blank page is terrifying when you care too much.
So on day 4, I told myself something different. I said, Noah, just write the 60% version.
The 60% version?
Just good enough to send. Not perfect, not even close to perfect, just done.
And did it work?
I finished it in 40 minutes. 40 minutes! After 3 days of doing nothing.
That is incredible. So what changed?
The pressure dropped. The moment I gave myself permission to be imperfect, my brain relaxed. I slid back to the sweet spot on that curve.
That is the good enough rule. And it sounds almost too simple, right?
It sounds like you are lowering your standards, but you are not.
You are lowering your anxiety, which actually raises your performance.
Exactly, because a 60% version that exists is infinitely more useful than a perfect version that never gets started.
A done thing beats a perfect thing every single time.
Every time. And this connects directly to what we said above the Yerkes-Dodson curve. You are not trying less hard. You are trying at the right pressure level.
You are finding the sweet spot on purpose.
On purpose, deliberately, instead of just hoping you land there.
I tried this with my English speaking practice, actually. I used to script everything before I spoke. Every sentence planned out in advance.
Every sentence.
Every sentence. Because I was terrified of making a mistake, and then I would procrastinate on the speaking practice. Because the scripting took forever.
So the preparation became the procrastination.
Perfectly said. And then one day I just spoke. Without a script. Messy, imperfect, full of pauses.
How did it feel?
Terrifying for about 10 seconds. And then, kind of amazing.
Because you were actually doing the thing, not preparing to do the thing.
And my speaking improved so much faster. Because real practice, even messy practice, beats perfect preparation every time.
That is such a good point. And it applies to everything, not just English.
Work emails, creative projects, difficult conversations, anywhere you have been spinning your wheels, the good enough rule can unstick you.
So here is the first tiny action. When you have a task you have been avoiding, ask yourself, what does the 60% version look like?
Not the perfect version, the good enough version.
Write that down. 60%. Good enough to send. Good enough to share. Good enough to start.
And the second tiny action is even simpler. It is just one question.
One question you ask yourself when anxiety shows up.
When you feel that freeze coming, when your brain starts rehearsing failure before you have even begun, you ask,
Am I in the sweet spot? Or am I overpressuring myself?
that is it. That is the whole question.
And the moment you ask it, something shifts. Because you are no longer just feeling the anxiety, you are observing it.
You are stepping outside it for just a second.
And that tiny gap, that 1 second of distance, is enough to make a different choice.
Write that question on a sticky note. Put it on your desk, on your mirror, on your laptop.
Wherever you do your work, wherever you do your English practice.
Am I in the sweet spot, or am I overpressuring myself?
You know what I love about this? It is not about trying less. It is about trying smarter.
It is about knowing where you are on that curve and gently nudging yourself back to the top.
Not forcing, not pushing harder, just adjusting.
Like tuning a guitar string. Too tight and it snaps. Too loose and it sounds terrible. But just right.
And it makes music.
And if you are listening right now, pause for just a second. Think about your own version of this. What is the one task you have been putting off this week? The one thing sitting on your list that you keep skipping over.
Drop it in the comments, just one thing. We want to know, and we will be reading every single one.
Because naming it out loud, even in a comment, is already the beginning of doing it.
That is your 60% version of starting. Just name it.
You do not have to be ready. You just have to begin.
And hey, if this is resonating with you right now, this is the moment. Hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps us keep making episodes like this one.
We put a lot of heart into these conversations. And knowing you are out there listening, that means everything.
It really does. Okay. Are you ready for the word tour?
Word 2 time. What is one small change you want to try? Drop it in the comments right now. We read every single one.
And speaking of small changes, it is time for our word tour. 5 words and phrases to help you talk about perfectionism, like a native speaker.
We are slowing it down. Grab a pen if you have one.
Let's go.
All right, word tour time. 5 words and phrases to help you talk about perfectionism, like a native speaker.
Number 1. Perfectionism.
Perfectionism is the belief that anything less than perfect is simply not acceptable. It sounds like a good thing, but it is actually a trap.
Remember when Sara described staring at that color-coded to-do list for 40 minutes? That is perfectionism at work. The standard is so high, you cannot even begin.
Yes, that was me, fully trapped.
And in English, you will hear people say, I am my own worst critic. That is often perfectionism talking.
Say it with me. Huz 0.5s. I struggle with perfectionism.
Your challenge, use that sentence today. Tell someone or just tell yourself.
Number 2, overthink. To overthink means to think about something so much that you cannot act. Your brain keeps going in circles and nothing gets done.
I literally did this yesterday. I spent 20 minutes deciding what to have for lunch. 20 minutes.
Of course you did.
The more I thought about it, the harder it got. That is exactly what overthinking does. It makes simple things feel impossible.
Say it with me. Pause 0.5s. I tend to overthink small decisions.
Your challenge next time you catch yourself going in circles, say it out loud. I am overthinking this. Just naming it helps.
Number 3, sweet spot.
This is the one. Sweet spot, the ideal point where conditions are just right. Not too much pressure, not too little. Right in the middle.
This is the word for everything we talked about today. The top of that Yerkes-Dodson curve, where your best work lives.
And it is not just for psychology. You will hear it in sports, in music, in cooking anywhere. There is a perfect balance point.
I finally found my sweet spot with morning routines. That coffee is in the sweet spot, not too strong, not too weak.
I feel like my whole life is a search for the sweet spot.
Same, Noah, same. Say it with me. Oz 0.5s. I am looking for my sweet spot.
Use this one today. It is elegant, it is natural, and native speakers love it.
Number 4, procrastinate. To procrastinate means to delay doing something you know you should do. You keep putting it off, and off, and off.
Remember when I said I avoided that report for 3 days? That was procrastination, and the painful part, I knew I was doing it. I just could not stop.
That is the thing about procrastination. It is not about time. It is about emotion. You are avoiding the feeling of possibly failing.
I feel personally attacked by this word.
Good. That means it is working. Say it with me. Pause. 0.5s. I have been procrastinating on this all week.
Your challenge. Say this sentence to someone today. Admitting it is the first step out of it.
And number 5, let it go.
Let it go to stop worrying about something and simply move on. Release the pressure. Release the need for perfect.
This is the phrase that ties everything together today. The good enough rule, the sweet spot, the 60% version, they all lead here.
At some point, you have to let it go. Send the email, post the video. Say the sentence in English even if it is not perfect.
Especially in English practice. Let it go and speak. That is where the real learning happens.
This is basically your life advice, Sara.
It took me a long time to learn it, but yes. Say it with me. Pause 0.5s. Sometimes you just have to let it go.
Your challenge, find one thing today that you have been holding too tightly and let it go. Just one thing.
So, what a conversation today.
I keep coming back to that image of the hill. The Yerkes-Dodson curve. Too little pressure, you drift. Too much, you freeze.
And the sweet spot is not a place you find once. It is a place you return to. Again and again.
Every time the anxiety creeps in. Every time the blank page feels too big. You ask that one question.
Am I in the sweet spot, or am I over-pressuring myself?
That question is a gift, genuinely.
And here's what I want you to take away today. Trying hard is not the problem. Trying perfectly is.
Done is better than perfect. Every single time.
Now we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what is one area of your life or your English learning where you have been over-pressuring yourself? And what would the 60% version look like?
We read every single comment. Every one. So drop it below.
This is Sara.
And this is Noah.
And you have been listening to Everyday English Podcast.
Be kind to yourself this week. You are doing better than you think.
And your English journey does not stop here. There is more waiting for you right on this screen.
Pick any video and keep going. We will see you there.